Next topic is project management overview. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques applied to project activities in order to meet the project requirements. Project management is a process that includes planning, putting the project plan into action, and measuring the progress and performance. Project managers can be seen in public and private sectors and many industries including IT, finance, banking, law enforcement agencies, construction, municipalities, etc. For several decades, public sector projects were managed by contractors whose primary objective was to just profit motive. At the end of the project, the contractor would provide the public sector agency with a deliverable, but on many occasions, the contractor would walk away with the project management best practices and lesson learned. Public sector agencies now require contractors to share all project management intellectual properties accumulated during the course of the project with them. Also, with limited uh, resources in times of term, personnel, and finance, public sector agencies are becoming experienced in project management to the point where the projects are managed with internal personnel rather than contractors. So let us discuss about the project management overview. Starting with initiate and align, plan the work, endorse the plan, work the plan, and transition and closure. So initiate and align the project team. You can tell this is a first step in the project management process. Initiation is a formal recognition that the project exists. Organizational senior management will initiate the project and assign the project to the project manager. The project manager will identify the project team and align the team with the common goal and purpose. Plan the work. This step produces the project management plan that will be used by the project team to deliver the project. Endorse the plan. Once the project management plan is endorsed, the project team will move to the work the plan phase. Work the plan. Working a plan requires the project manager to continuously update the plan, requiring some additional planning and possible re-endorsement in the case of change. Then finally, transition and closure. This is a step of transitioning the project to the next phase or completing the project as described in the project description and delivering the project to the customer. So the scalability of managing the project. See, initiate and align, plan the work, endorse the plan. It is plus or minus 10% of the total project effort, while as that of work the plan have a plus or minus 90% of the project effort. Then comes schedule management. A project manager's key responsibility is to create a realistic project schedule. Before the project execution begins, the project manager should identify if the planned end date is achievable. There are several project management software available in the market. The project managers can use this software to assist with the scheduling in their real life projects. However, if you want to clear the PMP exam, you must thoroughly understand the process of scheduling a project. You must also know the process of manually drawing the network diagram to answer questions about network diagrams and scheduling. Each project is unique, and the software which we use can't adapt to the uniqueness of the project needs. It was identified that making a list is not appropriate as compared to creating a work breakdown structure. So what is work breakdown structure? It's a deliverable-oriented hierarchical decomposition of the work to be executed by the project team to accomplish a team mission and create the required deliverables. And work breakdown structure is mainly used to define the project scope. The project scope contains the goals of the project, deliverables of the project, tasks, cost, and deadlines. The schedule development process must generate the project schedule that must consider or satisfy the given criteria like complete, realistic, and accepted. Complete means the schedule must represent all the works to be done. Realistic means the schedule must be realistic with regard to the time expectations and availabilities of the human resource to participate. Then comes accepted means it should have a support, buy-in from the team members and stakeholders, especially the beneficiaries. The steps designed to help managers the time constraints of the project: define the schedule, publishing the schedule, monitoring the schedule, and updating the schedule. So the inputs are work breakdown structure, historical information, beneficiary calendar information, resource plan. The process is plan, do, act, plan, do, check, and act cycle. Outputs are project scheduling baselines, schedule variance reports, and schedule updates. So let us discuss about defining the schedule. The goal of defining the schedule is for the project team to have a complete understanding of all the works that they must accomplish. By defining the schedule of the project, also develop the understanding of the constraints, conditions, dependencies, and sequence of the activities. So what are the activity sequence? The output of defined activities is a list of activities and milestones. In sequence activities process, these activities and milestones are sequenced in the order of work performance, starting with finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, and start to finish. So finish to start means the successor can start only after the activity finish. Second, start to start, the successor can start only after the activity starts. Finish to finish, the successor can finish only after the activity finish. And start to finish, the successor only finish only after the activity starts. And this relation is generally used very rarely. Activity duration. The project team will generally construct a list of all activities and assign an estimated time or estimated duration of each activity. Sometimes they will use the historical information from similar projects and consult with the experts. The duration includes the actual time or actual amount of time worked on an activity to determine the total time of the project and resources available for the given projects. So in order to estimate the activity, we use analog estimation. It's a top-down approach. Parametric estimation. So estimating the duration of an activity based on a rate or industry standards for productivity. And third one is PERT estimation, that is program evaluation and review techniques. He uses three estimation techniques, that is like optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic estimates. And the formula is most optimistic plus 4 times most likely plus most pessimistic divided by 6. Then comes the network diagrams or precedence diagram. The precedence diagrams is a tool for scheduling activities in a project plan. It's a method of constructing a project schedule network diagram that uses boxes referred to as nodes to represent activities and connect them with arrows that shows the dependencies. A strategy for scheduling activities in a project plan, the precedence diagrams used, and it's a strategy for developing a project schedule network that utilizes nodes to represent activities and associates them with the project tildes that illustrate the dependencies. This method is likewise called activity on node. Alluding to the project management techniques, the project team utilizes a schedule network diagramming procedure to graphically represent any acknowledged and pre-existing schedule activities through the utilization of nodes. So these network diagrams that you already discussed in quality project management, Construct 3. So this is an example for a network diagram which contains the activity name, activity duration, earliest starting time, earliest finish time, latest start time, and latest finish time. And mainly this network diagram is used to identify the critical path methods. The critical path is the longest path in the diagram, which contains least amount of slack. So then comes the critical path. As we discussed it already, that the critical path is the longest path. So in order to create the critical paths, once if you get the details, or else if you have the table of the activity, duration, and dependencies, first to create the network diagram, then after that find the number of paths from start to finish, calculate the duration of each path, and then identify which path is having the longest path will be considered as the critical path. See here an animated example for the critical path. Start A and B, then C, then D, then E, etc. Then comes the another method, another tool is the Gantt chart. So this is another method to display the project schedule. It became very popular because it is more convenient for the project managers. So it has become a popular method in project management for its use in the most common project scheduling software. So then comes publish the schedule, get the schedule approval. So in these steps, so there is negotiation with the project stakeholders. Means one more negotiation that includes meeting with the stakeholders, leaders, or beneficiary representatives to agree on the specific milestones or dates when the project requires the participation of the beneficiaries. Schedule baselines. The baselines will be generally used to monitor the schedule as the project makes progress, whether it is going on time. Communicate the schedule. The best way to communicate the schedule is to draw a large version of the schedule and place it on the wall at the central station or location of the project office or room. This way the project schedule is visible to all the team and visitors, team members as well as the visitors. Schedule updates. As the project starts to make progress, the project manager will use the activity status reports from the project team to update the schedule and update the information of progress. Monitor the schedule. Focused on determining the status of the project manager, based on the information, then will determine what factors have influenced the changes in the schedule, and they may be internal or external factors. So then it is a responsibility of the project manager to ensure or to check the influence or impact on the schedule and determine various actions to either bring the schedule back into the original. Means sometimes the schedule maybe what we can tell, maybe out of the nominal value, means out of the track. So the project manager should provide some tools or techniques to bring the project back into track. Then comes updating the schedule. The project manager needs to determine the process to make changes to the project schedule. Example like who has the authority to make changes, how to analyze impact on schedule changes, how often the schedule is monitored, version control and schedule changes approved. So schedule recovery and compression. There are many reasons you may want to compress the schedule. Sometimes management may ask you to compress the schedule. Often it happens when your resources are needed for new opportunities. Project delays can happen for many reasons. Example like an unrealistic schedule, unavailability of promised resources, the occurrence of unidentified risks, force majeures. Other reasons include the clients want you to complete the project early. There is an opportunity to get another project if you can complete this one early. You want to launch a product early because a competitor has done so. So generally, you can use one of the two schedule compression techniques, fast tracking and crashing, to decrease the project's duration with no change in scope. So recovery. The schedule recovery denotes the schedule which is intended to gain back time almost lost, that is to bring it back to the schedule compression. Schedule compression is the technique used to shorten the project duration without reducing the project scope. There are two methods which I mentioned already. One is crashing and second one is fast. Schedule crashing means, as per the PMBOK 6th edition, the crashing is a technique used to shorten the schedule duration for the least incremental cost by adding resources. Afterwards, you will apply crashing to those activities. So in crashing, you will review the critical path activities and find ones that can be completed early with extra resources that can provide the highest compression with the least cost. While crashing, you will monitor other paths as well. It is possible that the duration of other paths would become equal or greater than your critical path. So a few examples for crashing techniques like overtime, more resources, monetary awards. Here mentioned like shorten the schedule activity duration, assigning additional resources, working overtime, change project or resource calendars, etc. And then come the schedule fast tracking. So in the schedule fast tracking, uh, generally which activities you can complete in sequence are performed in parallel. So fast tracking is a schedule compression techniques which activities or phase normally performed in sequence are done in parallel for at least for a portion of the total duration. In fast tracking, generally you review the critical path and list of all virtual activities or vital activities. Then you analyze which one can be performed partially or fully parallel with other activities. You will not review the activities on the non-critical path, they have float. Reducing the duration of those activities will not affect the schedule, it will only give more float to them. You should monitor the other paths whose duration are close to the critical path. If any other path become critical, you will reduce the duration of the new critical paths. In this case, uh, your current path will no longer be critical. Afterwards, you will rearrange the fast track activities and reanalyze the schedule To compress a schedule, project managers start with the fast tracking because it does not cost more. However, it increases risk as activities are overlapping. Thank you.